Okay, so here are the rails, and here is our show.
Completely off. Completely gone today. What in the world? Derailed. Yay, you're here. Welcome to the CK and GK podcast. Let's get going.
It's November,
Oh my God.
so it's not Taco Tuesday. It's Turkey Tuesday.
Yes. Oh, and pretty soon after Thanksgiving, it'll be turkey every day while you eat the rest of your meal, right? Oh, goodness. You guys, we're so glad you're here. We're heading into the season of socializing, aka the most wonderful time of the year. And
It's the most wonderful time of the year. If you like talking to people,
if you don't, it's the most nightmarish type of the year. If you have an introverted partner or bestie or someone who you love, who you're intending to drag around to all of these social events that are upcoming in this holiday season, we've got 3 things that you need to eliminate from your vocabulary when you speak with them. And if you are an extrovert, don't worry, we're not extrovert bashing, right? We have a little trick that you can use to get your introvert to come outside of the house with you where all the people are, right?
I want to be where the people are.
Nice. Well done.
I'm such a singer today.
You are. So that's all coming up, so stick around. But first,
In honor of Thanksgiving, we have Caitlin, who will Plymouth Rock you. We will Plymouth Rock you.
no, it doesn't work. It does not work. Well, that's Jenny, my phenomenal well of ideas, who is just...
They're not good. They're not good ideas. She just got a lot of them.
That's not true. They're good. I say that, I sounded very hesitant, but I swear, I swear they are good. Gosh. Oh, okay. I have a shout out.
Okay.
And it's random. And it made me laugh. But it's apparently real. So,
okay.
I wanted to say hi to our listeners in Poland because our podcast cracked the Apple Podcast Top 200 for like education how to in Poland. And I have no idea why. I don't know. I know nothing about Polish culture.
Is it because of Kujawa?
Oh, maybe. I know nothing about Polish culture. I don't know, like...
It's like a place there.
Well, yeah, no, I know that. I know Poland is a place.
No. Kujawa is like a place.
Oh, you're kidding. Really?
No. It's like a region or area or something. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were telling me that Poland was a place. And I was like, no, I know. Like, I got it. I used to teach geography. I kind of know that much, right? Goodness.
Gem of the week. Poland is a place.
Yes, it is. And I also have a correction.
Okay.
Last week, we talked about celebrity deaths, and we also talked about Matthew Perry's untimely passing. And I said I would put a link to the organization that we donated to in the show notes, Shatterproof. I did not put that link in the show notes.
Oh,
and
well,
I forgot.
It'll be in this week's.
So I'm really hoping that I will remember to put it in this week's, but check the show notes and look there. And yes, we did our donation last week, but I just want to put that out there that if you were hoping to donate, it's there now. Ooh, are we ready to do some real talk today?
Yeah, I'm ready to learn.
Are you?
Yeah, or as Snoop would say, teach me how to learn, Martha.
Nice. First of all, again, like I said, we're talking about 3 things you should not say to your introverted bestie, partner, whatever, when you're trying to get them to go out and be among the people, right?
Okay.
My sources for today are my beloved Emma Singer at Pure Wow, whose articles I steal on a regular basis as fodder for this show. So thank you to Emma Singer. And she talked to 3 psychiatrists for this article. One of them is Ryan Sultan, a medical director, he's a doctor also, by the way, medical director at Integrative Psych and Columbia University professor. Dan Auerbach, who's a relationship therapist and works as the founder and co-director of Associated Counselors and Psychologists in Sydney, Australia. And yep. And Angela Ficken, who's a licensed social worker and affiliated with Harvard. So Emma Singer,
these are real people.
Yeah, went to the right people to get this information and get this advice. So the first thing you should not say to your introverted partner when trying to get them to go out with you is, "You're so quiet." Like,
especially with that tone,
right? Well, how else is it going to be delivered, right? No matter how you say that, it's going to
feel icky.
It's going to feel icky. So, duh, right? How is this constructive? How does it help? Introverts are quiet by nature. That's like a defining trait of introverted people. So when someone says that to an introvert, they are personality shaming.
Ew.
Like, yeah, personality shaming. Really? Are we doing that? Okay. So for the record, also, "you're too serious" and "why don't you ever want to go out and do something fun" are also personality shaming. And they're not on this list, but they are things that I'm adding because, ew.
Yeah, they fall under the "you're so quiet."
Right. And when you say like "you're so quiet," you're implying that the things that your introverted person loves to do, like stay home, be in the quiet, read a book, watch TV, or whatever it is they like to do.
Or, God forbid, listen.
Oh, yes.
They might actually be, I don't know,
Listening.
Following the conversation.
Right. What you're doing is you're implying that those things are boring.
Right.
So you're...
And not valuable.
Right. And not valuable. So you're like not only like crapping on their personality, but now you're crapping on the things they like to do. Good job.
Cool.
Yeah. So...
They're not going to go out with you.
No, they're not going to hang out with you. And... I mean, this bothers me for one of the reasons that you just said. There's lots of other indicators that a person is engaged or interested in whatever is happening around them. Maybe they're observing. Maybe they're listening. Maybe they're thinking about when they want to add to the conversation, but the extroverts are talking over in all the places and they can't get a word in. So just keep that in mind as you say "you're so quiet." At the best, I think a person who hears "you're so quiet" is going to feel misunderstood, right?
Right.
At worst, judged. So don't do that to your person. Okay. Second one, don't be so antisocial.
Ew.
Right? I hate that one. Character attacking. Again, that's not cool. And quiet and introverted does not equate to antisocial. And just in case we've forgotten what antisocial actually means, we're talking about being averse to the company of other people or being harmful to other people. That's what antisocial is. And an introvert is not the same thing as someone who's antisocial, right?
I'm an introvert.
Yes, me too.
I feel like I have some pretty good pro-social behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
I have a podcast where people said I was legit funny.
They did say that.
So
still waiting for my compliment, but that's okay. It's neither here nor there.
No, they said these ladies.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
And unless they're talking about multiple versions of me, I think that they meant you too.
I hope so. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is people like you and I who are introverts, we do enjoy smaller social gatherings. You and I together, you wouldn't think that we are introverts because together
like structure
we are not
social.
Yeah. Right, exactly. But I get overwhelmed by sensory things like too much noise. It's chaotic. I don't like it. It just makes me uncomfortable. And I'm short. So if I'm in a big crowd of people, I get lost, kicked, stepped on. Other things have happened to me at concerts. We won't get into that today, but I don't like it. So just don't assume that someone who is introverted does not value social interaction or does not value social relationships that they have, because they absolutely do. They just recharge differently than you do.
Right.
Right. Also, when you say don't be so antisocial, that's a great guilt trip that you've just taken that person on.
Right.
Right? Like, I also would think if you say that to me, that's going to backfire because I'm going to go, but I'm going to be angry while I'm there, which is going to reflect on me poorly. And I won't be social even, I'll be social even less than I would normally be.
Right.
And I'm going to be mad at you for making me go when we get back.
Don't be so antisocial. Like, the subcontext there is you're being antisocial.
Right.
And I don't want you to.
Ew.
No.
Don't like it. Okay, this last one. I'm about to get fired up.
Okay.
You're too sensitive. First of all, do not tell me how to feel my feels. Okay?
Right.
Just putting that out there. I even wrote that exact line down. Like, do not tell me. I say what my feels are. You don't tell me how sensitive I am.
Circle of control, baby.
Right. Also, though, introverts are known to process information deeply. As you mentioned, they're observing, they're listening, they're thinking. They're thinkers all the time, right? They're constantly analyzing. And most likely, if they're like me, they're over-analyzing every single interaction.
They're not just thinking, they're overthinking.
Right. And probably reliving that one time in 7th grade when they fell down in front of a lot of people. Yes, that really did happen to me twice. And it was really embarrassing and they just don't want it to happen again, right? So there is that.
When I was like a junior or senior in college, I tripped up the stairs on the way to a final and I spilled my cherry mocha.
No! Ew. First of all, that sounds gross.
Oh, no, it was great.
Okay.
And I cried. Mostly because I was on my way to a final. I was super stressed. I was embarrassed. And I had spilled my coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there crying. I spilled my coffee. It was my last meal plan that I had for the semester.
Oh, no.
And like, it's towards the end of school. Like, things are getting crazy. And someone was so cute. They were like, I'll take you for coffee.
Oh, that's so sweet. What a nice thing
So
to
after
say.
we finished our exams, she took me out for coffee.
That's so nice. Oh my gosh, I hope you're still her friend. Because that's really nice.
I didn't know her. She was just in my class. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was a microbiology class with like 150 people in it.
That is the kindness. That is like a restores faith in humanity sort of kindness.
I want to say yes. Like, yes, it's great. And, I did go to the friendliest campus in the world. But also, she was probably someone who had like 22 meal plans left that she needed to swipe before the end of the semester.
Yeah, it happens.
But anyhow, I got another coffee.
Moral of the story.
Yes, sorry.
Jenny got
back
coffee.
to the story about you're too sensitive.
I'm sorry. That's hilarious. I'm coming back to it. I'm coming back. And we're here. So because introverts constantly process information and they do it so deeply, it makes them more sensitive to everything, right? Like,
sure,
including their environment. As I mentioned, I don't like big crowds. That's actually a really common trait among introverts. They don't like overstimulating events, and lots of people are very overstimulating. So that's a big deal. So I'm just going to say this, maybe consider the power that comes from that sensitivity. Because a lot of introverts are very empathetic and can really, really connect with the people that they do engage with when they want to.
Right.
That's pretty special.
And here's the deal. Like, I love going to events when I know what the event is. And I have prepared myself.
Yes.
Right? Like, if this is just like a mixer and the whole point of it is just being around people and talking to them, I have to go back and listen to our episode on small talk
and be prepared.
Come with things.
Me too.
Say, okay, I'm going to quickly look up a couple of news stories or listen to a new release on Spotify and say, okay, at least I can talk about this album that just came out last week or something, because I don't do the no structure thing very well.
I also get very anxious about just logistics. So what do I wear? How fancy is this? Are girls going to be like in jeans and something cute on top? Or are we talking like jeans and sparkles? What's actually happening here? And if I have to go somewhere that I don't know and I don't know how to park, I'm going to research that too, because I don't know any of these things and I need to know every little logistical piece in order to feel comfortable And then, even then, I'm still stuck to my person that I came with, like white on rice. Like I just don't feel comfortable releasing myself yet unless I know
there's
those
nothing
people.
wrong with that.
Yeah. No, there isn't. I know that.
Unless you're being too sensitive.
Ew. No, I'm not. Now, this does sound a little bit extrovert bashing, and I don't intend it to. And I acknowledge that extroverts need to have those social interactions to feel recharged, rejuvenated, and cared about in general. And that there is nothing wrong with that at all. So
I'm married to one.
Right.
I totally get it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not, but I do understand what we're talking about.
Oh,
here.
no. It is a conversation often.
It's
when
so...
John's like, hey, do you want to invite so-and-so over to watch the playoff game? I'm like, no.
No, I don't.
No, I don't. As a matter of fact.
Right. Right.
And he's like, oh, well, I'm going to invite them. I'm like, all right, go ahead.
Hopefully it's somebody who doesn't mind a dirty house, because I'm sure not cleaning it up. Thankfully, the only people we invite over are like people we care about very much. I don't have big parties that much.
Or break their kids' toes at your house and don't sue you.
Right. But you did not sue us, and for that, we thank you. So,
yeah, so that's what I'm saying is I get to stay on the invite list.
Right. You're always invited. And there are times when you've been in my house and I didn't know, and you were just hanging out.
True story. I thought you were running errands or something,
no.
And I just waited.
And I'm just like, all right. And she's just in the house by herself while our husbands are outside talking and having a cigar, and she's just in my house, and I'm like, what do I hear? And then I hear the boys, and I was like, wait, Jenny? Like, what are you doing? Why are you just in my kitchen by yourself? Don't come back here. Come hang out with me in the office. Anyway. All right. So my extroverts, back to you. Here's how to align your extroverted needs with those of your introvert. What you're going to do is you're going to ask them to meet you in the middle. And you can even use...
In the middle?
Nice. You can even use that word. You can say, okay, I need you to meet me in the middle here. All right?
Okay.
I'm going to acknowledge their need for alone time as the extrovert. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, I know you need alone time. And to that end, I have planned 3 hours where I'm taking the kids out of the house, and you can have the house all to yourself, and it'll be nice and quiet. We'll be at the playground. We're going to get lunch, blah, 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 whatever it is you're going to do.
Yes.
Okay. Then you're going to say, is there an activity that's coming up on this social calendar that the two of us can do together, because I would like to spend that time out in the people place with you.
In the people place?
I'm thinking about
that's good.
When my husband when we were just dating, and we had separate apartments that were like a mile and a half apart, and he lived in a first floor apartment, and he would keep all the blinds closed, and I referred to it as the Bat Cave. And I'd be like, are you going to come out of the Bat Cave where all the people are? And no. Like, oh, okay. No? Okay, great. Got it. Good to know. But yeah, that's what I have in my head right now when I'm saying the people place. Like, are we leaving the Bat Cave right now? So you don't have to go to every single event, or just don't demand that your partner attends every single event with you. But
amen.
I'm sure.
And this is true for any relationship, introvert, extrovert, it doesn't even matter. Normalize attending things without your partner.
Yes.
It is okay for you to go to a party or a meal or whatever without your other person. Mm-hmm. And you do not have to make crazy excuses for them.
No.
You can just say, she's not coming tonight. Our relationship is fine. Don't worry. We're not in a fight. She just had something else she needed to do.
Right.
And that thing that she needed to do, or that thing that he needed to do, could be sit on the couch and binge watch old episodes of Sex and the City. Mm-hmm. It's fine.
Great British
Like, it doesn't matter what the other person needed to do. You don't have to bring a date to everything that you do. It's okay.
No,
it's normal.
Especially if it's one thing if your relationship is new and you really want to like bring that person around to these people. But like,
of course,
at this point in my relationship, like, we've been together for 20 years. Like, there's no, you know what I mean?
There's no new.
There's no new. So it's like, Oh, yeah, Kate couldn't come. Oh, yeah, no, Bryce isn't coming tonight. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Everything's fine, but
Yeah. Don't worry, he'll still be there when I get back.
I do like him. I want him to be there when I get back. Right? But like, yeah. But, or, you know, I mean, if you can't get a sitter, it's okay to say, I couldn't get normal. A sitter.
It's fine.
Like, yeah. So she stayed home with the kid, right? Like, it's fine to do that. Or I couldn't get a sitter, so he
or I
stayed
drew the
home.
Short straw, so I had to come.
Right. Says the introvert, right? It's fine. And the only issue I have here is make sure that you don't sign up for every single thing and then like you ditch your partner with responsibilities that you would normally help with all the time. So like,
totally agree.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's one thing to say yes to an event. It's entirely another to say yes to all the events and then make your introverted person stay home with the kids every single time, right? Just
absolutely
make sure you provide that time for them to be alone.
With all of this.
Right, of course.
Right. You know, if it's a work function and everyone's bringing their partner, of course you want your spouse to come.
Of course.
Or your partner, whoever.
Right.
But if this is a function where a bunch of people are just getting together to go watch a football game, it's okay if your partner doesn't come. It's okay.
Yeah, not a big deal. And like, be okay with that. It's like, you'll be all right. Especially if you're the extrovert. Like, you're fine. Yeah. It's the introvert who can't go anywhere without you. So don't worry about it. You're going to be okay. So my 3 things are, just to recap, right? You're so quiet. Psh, don't be so antisocial. And you're too sensitive. Just eliminate those from your vocabulary. And then when you want to go out, just ask them to meet you in the middle, provide them that alone time, actually schedule it for them, and then offer up your own schedule and say, these are things I would like you to attend with me.
CK and GK advice. If you want someone to do something, don't insult them first.
That works in every space, by the way.
We're going to trademark that.
I'm down.
Okay.
No one else can
let's
say
take a break so I can go file the paperwork.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so I ordered this book. Mm-hmm. It's called The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartache and Magic.
Oh.
I don't know anything about the book.
Okay.
I don't know anything about the author, but the review was Gilmore Girls meets Practical Magic.
Yes.
So I ordered
Here
it.
for it. Love it.
So I'll read it this weekend and I'll let you know how it is. But I thought, oh, that basically
perfect.
Says, here, Jen, order this book.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It really does. We're back, by the way.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Welcome back. It's time for some circle time. You can sit crisscross on the rug and get ready to share a story. The first thing we're going to talk about is things that we're obsessed with. Mm-hmm. I haven't read the book yet, so I'm not going to put that on my list, but there is so much good music right now.
Oh.
Okay, first off, there's a new Beatles tune. Like, they're even labeling it as the last Beatles song.
Yes, they are.
Have you listened to it?
I have not listened to it yet because I've been very lo-fi beats lately while I try to get anything done at work. Or like when I'm super stressed and I'm like, I need my ocean sounds. Like, that's all I've been thinking about. And then the occasional like U2 playlist creeps in there and I'm like, okay, but I need my ocean music, my like bilateral.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about it.
Okay, so this Beatles tune, John Lennon wrote when he was living in the Dakota in New York City.
Okay.
And he was constantly like just writing fun things and recording them on a tape deck placed on his piano.
Oh.
Now, this is like the late 70s. Remember, he died in 81. So
wow.
Technology at that point, like cassette deck was pretty new.
Yeah, but I think people still associate, I think people don't realize when. To me, 81 feels late. Do you know what I mean?
For cassettes?
No, for John Lennon's death.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. No, I get that.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people think about his work after the Beatles.
Yes, that's true.
Right?
Yes.
Like,
it's all Yoko and that's it.
Paul McCartney has had 50 years of career after that.
Oh my gosh.
John Lennon wasn't afforded that opportunity.
No.
Okay, so anyway, He's recording and just kind of playing around and taping things on cassette. Yoko Ono gives this cassette to Paul, which first off, I was like shocked. Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what a gift to give someone. Like, here you go. Here's some music that my husband was working on.
Yeah.
And so there were a couple of tunes that she gave to them. And in the mid 90s, George, Paul, and Ringo recorded and released.
Yes. This I remember.
But this Now and Then was just a very poor recording. And the piano was hard to hear, but it was also muffling John's voice. And they played with it as much as they could. George laid down some tracks. Paul laid down some tracks. Ringo laid down some drums. Like they had what they thought could be a song, but it just wasn't good. And the sound quality on John's portion of it was just awful. Well, when Peter Jackson made this Get Back movie, he and his team invented some kind of AI technology with machine learning to separate voices and instruments and sounds so that they could use the voices that were people talking in the studio as dialogue in the film.
Wow.
So Paul watches the movie and says, we ought to give that tape to Peter.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul sends the original cassette to Peter Jackson and his people. They are able to, beep, bop, beep, boop, beep, beep, and take John's voice as its own track. And so they had, even though George had died like 20 years ago, they had his guitar and his background vocals. Wow. Paul re-recorded the bass line and background vocals. Ringo records background vocals and drums. And now they have released this new tune.
This is wild.
It's so cool.
So they basically separate everything out, enhanced it all to make it be of good quality. And now there's wow. Oh my goodness.
Yes. It's so cool. Robots made this song.
Oh, or at least made it possible, right?
Made it possible.
Originally, it's not robots.
There is a music video that goes along with it. And of course, the music video is like very misty. It's got images of the guy superimposed on the future, or I guess present, but that. And then there's also a little 12-minute documentary on how it was made. And that's actually what I was watching while you were talking to me. And I was not responding at all.
Oh.
It's very good.
That's awesome.
Okay, so that's the new Beatles tune. There's a new Blink-182 song.
Mm-hmm.
If you know their story, you know that one of the guys almost died in a car crash, or a plane crash, excuse me. One of the guys almost died of cancer. The song is, "Do I Have to Die for You to Say You Miss Me?" Like, oh, hello.
Oh.
Talk about feeling your feels.
Oh, man.
I discovered a new band called The Dip.
Okay.
Not guac.
Okay.
Not queso, but just The Dip. And they kind of got this like Carolina beachy vibe. Really like their stuff.
Nice.
But my apologies to all the Beatles fans out there, because the song that I am currently obsessed with, and I don't think I will ever get tired of, is Cruel Summer.
Yeah.
I have been listening to this song for months, and I love it so much. Okay,
so I'm going to ask you this, and I'm not diagnosing you with anything, although we both know that you also have ADHD. How many times are you listening to it on repeat, like just over and over again? Like, is it doing that thing to your brain where like it's soothing your brain?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was on when I pulled my car into the driveway, and I sat there and finished it, as you do. And then when I left the next day, it was on my car when I drove away.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had several songs like that. Do you remember that song by Gautier, the Somebody That I Used to Know song?
Somebody that I used to know. Yeah.
Yeah, that song did it to me, where I would just like sit there and like meditate on it basically. And then the Lord Royals song did it to me too.
So here is a shout out to my mom, because when I was in high school, the song that did it for me, and I would just play on a loop over and over again to the point where she would like make fun of me, was Flavor of the Week by American Hi-Fi. Her boyfriend, he don't know anything about her. Yeah. Over and over and over again.
Okay, so that's your one now. I would say my most modern one is all the stars, the sound from the soundtrack to the first Black Panther movie. The like title track song with SZA and Kendrick Lamar.
Who I accidentally called Saw, and my daughter decided to announce it to everyone that she knows how awful I am.
Oh,
my mom thought her name was Saw. Sorry.
I will say I'm a lot less in touch with the youth now that I'm not in the classroom anymore, but that one I still know.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, goodness. I love it. Okay, so mine is...
It inspired her to put together a presentation, all the embarrassing things my mom did over the summer.
Yes. Can I see that?
Well, she wanted to present it to the school.
No.
Because I teach at her school. So she was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do a campfire and all the embarrassing things you've done. Like, okay.
I'm going to put the kibosh on that right now. No, we're not doing that. But thank you. But Aunt Caitlin would really love to see it. So
yeah.
Okay, so
sorry,
mine,
that was a really long obsession time.
It's okay. You know I do this. I am I'm someone who draws on my son's lunch stuff.
Yes.
Like lots of parents write little notes, I draw a picture. So I'm creative in the sense that if you give me something, like you give me a topic or you give me something to do, I can create it. But I don't typically have the ability to wade through my own ideas because it's all just like idea soup and it all comes together and I can't make a decision. So
okay.
Yeah. So I need guidance. So I've been drawing creatures, like all kinds of different creatures, and sometimes people or whatever, but usually creatures and characters using a letter or a number as your starting shape.
Cool.
So I did the whole alphabet and now I'm just doing some numbers. I stopped for a little while and did a few Halloween things, but I want to shout out the person who's like really helping me do this. His name is Steve Harpster and he has a website called drawingwithsteveharpster.com, or you can find his work all over Pinterest, but it's basically like all of he's like, draw a dinosaur, and it's like he'll take an A and he'll turn it into a triceratops, or he'll like the one that I did for Halloween, there was a J and I turned it into a zombie. Like it's really, really cool stuff that you can draw with his help. And his website, I mean, I think that there's like some members only stuff, but he does have books that you can buy and all these things. But I find his stuff all over Pinterest. You can just type in Harpster, or you can type in Harp Tunes or draw with numbers, and his stuff will come up. And it's usually like,
cool.
It's usually like 6 steps that are really easy to follow. And it's super fun. And it's a great little way for me to kind of decompress, like after like the stressful part of the day. You know what I mean? It's like, do the dishes, make the lunch,
sit there and draw,
put the child in the shower, all those things. And then like,
I used to watch the show in the mornings while I was like getting ready for school. And not to like be more of a dork than people already know me to be, but like getting ready for high school. Okay. We're not talking about like 3rd grade here. And it was like this old grandpa who did art.
Okay.
On PBS. And I was like trying to Google the name. I don't even remember, but he went by like Grandpappy or something. But he did the same kind of things where he would like start with a shape and then help you draw something. And it was meant for little kids. But I loved this show at like 15 and 16 years old.
It's cool. I mean, it's so creative. It's so smart. And it makes me feel like a decent
sketch
artist, but like at least like decent at drawing. It's really fun. And yeah, I mean, yeah. And it's like, you know, it's not like one of those things where it's like, okay, draw a circle.
Right.
Okay, but make sure you erase the lines around the circle. It's like I can get out a Sharpie and draw on my child's bag and not have to, you know, like erase things or whatever, where it's like, now shade in this part of the leg. And that, no, it's nothing like that. It's all just like, here's a 5. So it's going to become a walrus. Here's how we make it into a walrus. Yes, really. It's stuff like that. It's super cool. Or like, here's a 2. We're going to turn into a shark. Awesome. I think it was an orca. Doesn't matter.
Well, it's because that's the kind of stuff we're talking about.
Really awesome stuff. So it's fun.
No, that one landed flat. Yeah, that was no good. That was no good.
Oh, no.
So that girl who said I have, legit humor skills,
Yeah.
I think maybe she wasn't listening
All
to
right.
this episode.
Well,
all right.
that's okay.
Should we move along?
We should.
Okay, so here is the gem of the week.
How did you embarrass yourself this week, Jenny?
I'm about to, actually. So I have a really great quote as my gem of the week.
Yay.
Cheese is a cousin to fruit.
Hey.
Yes. The problem is,
Sorry, I'm just
at
processing.
some point, no.
Is it weird that I know what you're talking about?
Because at some point, someone around me said that, and I jotted it down on my list of funny things to say on the podcast, and I don't remember the context to it at all, except, here's a funny little thing. I'll tell this story one time on the air. And I have no idea when it was said, who said it, or what it was about.
I feel like they
Like
go
if it's
to
a family
I'm thinking of,
reunion.
like a charcuterie board right now. Like I have it. You put
There's grapes, there's
on
provolone,
the board.
there's a little salami.
Right.
It's just a big
They all
family.
come together. Figs, hey, some salami and some
So
I
cheese
see
is a
it.
cousin to fruit. I thought
see
it was
it.
really funny at the time, funny
Yes,
enough
they're
to jot
cousins.
it down.
I'm declaring it.
And then today when I'm working on my notes, I was like, I'll go look and see what funny things I wrote down. Cheese is a cousin to fruit. No clue. So the gem of the week is when you take notes, take specific notes. Yeah.
Right. Give yourself some context, because the number of times that I have written down either an idea for work where I'm like, this would be a great blog title, or an idea for a tweet for a show, and I'm like, this would be so good. And it's like, mom hair. Okay, great.
Did I tell
Mom
you about
hair.
the time
Yep, sure.
that I put a sticky note on my calendar to remember an event, but I didn't write what event it was? So I just had a sticky note on Wednesday, like, something important is happening. I have no idea what it is.
For a long time. It's like the finger, the finger with the string on it. Like, I don't remember something. Don't know what it is. Oh man! Of all the dumb things that I have done, I do stuff like that all the time. Or like, I'll write a sticky note and then I cover it up with some other piece of something, a tissue, my phone, whatever. Like, and then I forget what's on the sticky
the whole
note.
note thing doesn't work if you don't see the note.
Give yourself context when you take notes. Oh my gosh.
Cheese is a cousin to fruit.
Oh man.
So if you're listening and you said that to me, or you were in the space where it was said, please tweet at us and let me know what actually happened that day. It was apparently really funny.
Why were we having that conversation? It was funny, and I see it. It's real. It's a thing. Okay, here's mine. This has been the fall of illness for our family. My son got COVID the second week of school.
Gross.
He was home almost the entire week, because he came home on Friday, the first Friday of the school year, with COVID. And then somehow magically the rest of us didn't get it, but then he's had like various colds, because we've all apparently returned to sending our kids to school when they're contagious, I guess.
Mild fever?
And
just give Tylenol and
then
send
he
them out
caught
the door.
this like devil cough.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean,
Sure.
if they're not
But
contagious.
if your kid's running a temperature, like, don't give them Tylenol to conceal it.
Right.
The Tylenol is going to wear off. And whatever gave your kid the fever, they're going to share it.
No. 4 hours in. You get 4 hours.
Okay.
My son, finally, after whatever this devil bug was, the incubation period on this thing, I think that the contagious period was like 3 to 5 days, but the incubation period on it was probably like 2 weeks, because he starts like a little cough here and a little cough there, and he's like, there's just something in my throat, and we're like, oh, okay, no problem, but he kept doing it, and then all of a sudden, full-blown fever, and we were like, away. We were at the beach with our in-laws, or with my in-laws, and then a week in, my mother-in-law's like, oh, I'm not sick, we're okay, and then like 6 days later, she and my husband both have a fever. And it's the same thing that my child had. So I have no idea what's going on. But anyway, my son...
John told me that Bryce said that he was coughing up blood because his throat was so raw. That is awful. That is
felt so
awful.
bad for him. It was horrible. Yeah. And he had a fever. My husband never gets a fever. And he was at least 4 degrees higher than normal for him. It was wild. Yeah. So I'm asking my child, like, how are you feeling today? And he goes, Mom, I'm feeling so much better in my face. And if that isn't motherhood, I don't know what it is. And with that, we're going to sign off for the day.
Yes. So go wash your hands and make good choices.
Yeah. That's that. I got nothing else. Just go wash your hands.
And don't be so sensitive.
Ew. Okay, bye.
Hey friends, thanks for listening to the CK and GK podcast. Find us at CK and GK podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or anywhere else that you pod. See you next time.